Hey loves, it's London and I'm back with another tutorial. This one was requested. I did a bob in the previous video and it was a glue-in, and so someone requested that I do a sew-in. So that's what I've done. This hair has been colored by yours truly, so I highlighted the hair and also did the install. And this is the sexy bob right here. So if you want to see how I achieve this look, including the closure, then please keep watching. You know how I do? Let's get started. So I'm sectioning off my client's hair, and this is going to be based on where I want her part to be in her closure. So I'm just going to go ahead and separate these, and then I'll show you the braid down process. Of course, you don't need to see that. That's very easy and very simple. So this is her hair completely braided. I have the part on what is her right side because that's where my closure is going to be. I now already have my closure installed and also my netting. And I'm using 2 bundles of hair. So on the lower part of her head, underneath the occipital bone, I'm using just the 1B color, not the highlighted color. And I'm going to make certain that I stay back and forth between the ears. So I'm not going above the ear or near the hairline. This is just going to be in between the ears from back and forth. So I'm just flipping it over until I run out. So now I'm stitching the band, and this is right at the braid that's at the hairline. And this is just to make certain that it doesn't slide back. This is just added security. And so I'm going to go all the way down, and this is before I start to install the highlighted hair. This is also going to give me better security for my closure that's up top as well, and prevent that from shifting as I continue to stitch. Now with my first row of the colored hair, I'm going to make certain that I start right at the band, and this is right above the ear. And I'm going to make certain that I knot this very, very securely because I don't want it to be able to move. So I'm going to go in and knot it again. And then after that, I'll go ahead and begin my stitching. And I'm going to do this the same as I did the brown hair. I'm just going to go back and forth from one end of her temple to the other until I reach the top where the closure is. Now on her right side where the closure is, I made certain that I pulled that hair back just a little bit. I wanted to be able to show a little bit of her hairline. I feel like it gives a more natural effect. So that's why this side is a little further back than the other side. And I am just folding and going. I am not even bothering to cut the wefts. So now you see I'm here at the front of the hairline, which is on her left hand side. And if you notice, I don't have her hairline exposed because it's not necessary on this end. So that's the difference between her right side and her left side. And again, I'm just folding the track, and I'm going to go back in the opposite direction. Now I'm closing it up. I have now reached the closure, and I'm making certain not to pull on the closure. I'm just going to lay the track right at the edge where the closure ends. You don't want to pull it because you don't want to shift it. You don't want it to be too tight. And I'm going to go all the way around to the other side. And then after that, this process is done. So now I'm combing it through. I'm finding her actual part where I want her hair to be parted. And I don't believe I tweezed her hair on camera, but usually I go in and tweeze the part. So here I'm adding a little bit of foam I usually like to wet the hair and then tweeze it. I don't know, for me, I feel like it comes out a little bit better. But I make certain that I don't over tweeze her. She doesn't really like her part really defined. Of course, she wants an indication that there's a part there, but she doesn't really want it to be very visible. So now I'm going to go ahead and section off the back, and usually I cut halfway through the sew-in where I want the hair to stop, but we weren't sure, so I wanted to wait until I installed all the hair, and then at that point we determined the length that we were going for. So that is one clean chunk. It's the quickest and easiest way to actually do it. And then I'm just going to even out the sides to go along with it. As you can tell, we're doing a diagonal forward. And this one isn't going to be as profound as the one in my previous video. This one's a little bit more softer, a little bit more natural flowing. So now with my clipper, I'm going to go in and cut the back a little higher. So I've already created my guideline as to where I want the blonde hair to stop. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all the brown hair underneath it and make it blend in. So now I'm going to go in and add her layers, and I usually like to do this throughout the entire cut, not just the front. So I'm going in, I start with my back, that's usually the first place I go, and then I work my way either left or right and then go to the opposite direction. Here I'm going to go in and start to layer my top, and I'm using pretty much the same guideline that I used at the top going to the back. So now I'm using that same guideline at the top going forward, and then I'm going to blend it out with these sides just so that it is a nice even flow and it doesn't look really choppy if she decides not to put any curls in it. So now I'm done with the cut. This is the hair all tousled. It does have a little bit of a wavy texture that I love. So if she shampoos it and decides she just wants to air dry and go, she could. It's definitely a lot of shape and a lot of volume to it. But of course, for this purpose, we're going to go in and flat iron it. So I'm just using my EAP flat iron, and it is set to 450. And I'm just going to bevel the darker hair and work my way up. Now, as I flat iron the hair on the sides, I like to bevel away from the face. I'm doing this just a little bit tighter right there, just so that it'll have a little bit more layer and a little bit more texture to it. But I make certain that I don't flat iron just straight down. I flat iron in the way that I want the actual layer to fall. Once I'm done curling, I go in with my rake and I just begin to stop. And again, you can really see the softness of the layers here. Very natural, very free falling. And then on her other side, you'll be able to see where there's a little bit of her hairline exposed. And again, that just helps to give it a little bit more of a natural look. So here's a 360 of the final look. I hope you guys like it. I hope there was something that you learned. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please make certain that you comment, you like, and most importantly, subscribe. See you next Thursday. Bye, loves.